All right, today on the Paul Harrell program, sorry for the delay. We had a little streaming difficulty, but I think we're up and going now. Today on the Paul Harrell program, in light of James Comey being given what is obviously special treatment, allowed to go through the back door or the side door, because now we're finding out the DOJ didn't issue a warrant for his arrest. They issued a summons, and they're saying this is just some sort of administrative error. In light of this unequal treatment, today on the program, we're going to go over all of the figures on the right who were gone after, or maybe not all of them, but we're going to go through an extensive list because there's so many who the government was weaponized against under Joe Biden. Just to remind everybody of how bad it was, and again, if we don't do anything about the current criminals who have yet to be, all of them yet to be charged and put in jail, it's going to be full communism from here on out. Let's hope and pray that that's not the case. The Paul Harrell program starts right now.
The Paul Harrell program.
All right, folks, welcome. So here momentarily, I'm going to be joined by my co-host, Rob Spencer. Rob is running a little bit late. Real estate business is a busy occupation, so we're going to be hearing from Rob. He'll be joining me, my co-host, here in just a moment. In the meantime, I'm gonna anchor the show by myself, which is something that I am equipped to do. So here's the deal. What happened today with James Comey? Oh, and by the way, there is also, or it's wrapping up, or it's still ongoing. There's now a round table at the White House with Kash Patel, Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, and they're talking about Antifa now being designated a terrorist organization, and we're going to cover that as well. Specifically, Nick Sorter, who was arrested by the Portland police. They favored the Antifa thugs, the Antifa terrorists, we can now say, over him. He actually gave a blistering response during this roundtable. So we've got Trump and the cabinet, along with people like Jack Posobiec and Nick Sorter and others that are talking about Antifa and what's going to be done about it. Now, the cynicism in me, the skepticism in me is, I'm really just sick and tired of hearing what we're going to do, and I'm ready for things to just get going here. I know that you can sense that in the recent broadcasts of the program, as well as I know all of you are feeling the same thing. I mean, it is just rampant how people are. Well, they just think that the fix is going to be in. Even back to James Comey, the fact that he was given this special treatment in light of what happened to Steve Bannon, in light of what happened to Peter Navarro, and a lot of others. When Rob gets here in a minute, we're going to go over the long list that's extensive. Let's go ahead and start, though, with the latest. So earlier in my afternoon or my midday program, I didn't actually, we covered the disappointment that Comey was he was allowed to slink in like a rat, is what Steve Bannon said. But now we're hearing from Robert Barnes and others, and the coverage of Real America's Voice and more Steve Bannon, that Mike Davis says that the reason James Comey wasn't perp walked was because of some sort of administrative error at the DOJ. Listen to this audio and tell me what you think.
I have the answer.
Yes.
It was there was a summons issued instead of an arrest warrant. I think that was an oversight, and so they couldn't have him. They could not have Comey surrender with the FBI when there was a summons instead of an arrest warrant. I think it was an administrative mistake and it was not intentional.
But even unintentional is not that. That is.
I hear you, man.
Okay, that's not the way we want to start.
I hear you, brother.
That's,
I hear you, brother.
No, and I'm not blaming. Listen.
What are we supposed to think? I mean, James Comey is the guy. I like to use the word slink because he is tall and he is lanky. I mean, he's the guy that literally, when he was asked by George Snuffleupagus of ABC News, don't you think you should have told Trump that these reports about what went on in Russia with the urination and the hookers, don't you think you should have told him that it was paid for by his political opponent? And Comey's like, no, I don't think I should have told him that. This is one of the guys that orchestrated it all. Now, Robert Barnes here says No, issuing a summons instead of an arrest warrant is not an unintentional administrative mistake. I don't think it's a administrative mistake either. Everybody was waiting on James Comey to walk through the front door. Walk through the front door of the courthouse, and instead, no, he's James Comey. And again, we also have the reports, as we talked about earlier, that there were FBI agents who were nervous, who didn't agree with going and getting James Comey and arresting him or perp walking him, and yet they were all fully comfortable doing what they did to Roger Stone. They put leg shackles on Peter Navarro at the Reagan National Airport because they thought he was a flight risk over a misdemeanor. And then Comey here, we're talking about felonies. The whole thing is a joke. And of course, it's all over the alleged lie that he told. He's told many lies, but the ones that are still out there that are not expired because of the statute of limitations, it all hinges on this remote testimony that he gave over Zoom during the height of the COVID scamdemic between him and Ted Cruz.
To another topic. On May 3rd, 2017, in this committee, Chairman Grassley asked you point blank, quote, "Have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?" You responded under oath, quote, "Never." He then asked you, quote, "Have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton administration?" You responded again under oath, "No." Now, as you know, Mr. McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly stated that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and that you directly authorized it. Now, what Mr. McCabe is saying and what you testified to this committee cannot both be true. One or the other is false. Who's telling the truth?
I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by what the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017.
So your testimony is you've never authorized anyone to leak. And Mr. McCabe, if he says contrary, is not telling the truth. Is that correct?
Again, I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today.
All right, I'm going to make a final point because my time has expired. This investigation of the president was corrupt. The FBI and the Department of Justice were politicized and weaponized. And in my opinion, there are only two possibilities: that you were deliberately corrupt or woefully incompetent. And I don't believe you were incompetent. This has done severe damage to the professionals and the honorable men and women at the FBI because law enforcement should not be used as a political weapon. And that...
They're saying that is the exchange, which is really, we need to go back even further. We need to go back, because he's talking about the testimony between McCabe and himself. We really need to go back even further to find that initial comment. But because it was brought back up, statute of limitations doesn't apply. They're saying that was it. That was the part. Sorry, I just had something go off in my ear. Welcome to the show, Rob. I know you're not plugged in yet, but you are on camera because we got the split screen going.
Yes,
so
we got the split screen going. We got a video up there. So
well, just take a minute and just take a second and
okay.
So just to kind of illustrate why Comey is such a scumbag, and again, he was given special treatment. Now, but this is the guy. Do you remember this? Like this was at the beginning of the administration. The first 1.0, Mike Pence, Donald Trump, James Comey. I want to honor James Comey. You know, Trump ever trying to be magnanimous here.
I don't remember this.
Oh, there's James. He's become more famous than me.
Look at him smiling.
Yes. You're like, hey, I'm trying to take you down here very shortly.
Yeah. And so this is him. This is behind the scenes. This guy is orchestrating and is part of and I hope we do have a superseding indictment, is part of the grand conspiracy, essentially, of framing Donald Trump for treason. He was an integral part of this. He was an integral part of not only framing Trump for treason, but Mike Flynn for treason, as I'll show here in a minute, but also sending the country and duping half the country. As Congressman Rick Crawford sat right in that chair number 3, he said there are still people today, regardless of what's coming out. To my point yesterday, regardless of what is going to come out, there will always be people that think Vladimir Putin, basically installed Donald Trump, and it doesn't matter because there was so much lying and the media did so much lying. There are people to this day who are still brainwashed, and it's in large part because of James Comey. And he doesn't get perp walked because of an administrative error, they say. They gave him a summons instead of an arrest warrant.
There's no way in the world that you are making one of the most high-profile arrests, really, honestly, of any. Like, can you think of, other than Donald Trump, can you think of any arrest this high profile? I don't know.
No.
I'm saying that off the cuff because I really don't know.
No, I mean, I guess, yeah. He is like, he's looked at by the left as like the guy with integrity.
Yes,
so much integrity.
So much integrity that he cost Hillary the 2016 election. Right? That's what they think. So, like there's no way in the world you make that administrative error. Mm-hmm. You don't make that. I just don't believe it. They didn't want the optics of James Comey doing a perp walk.
Yeah.
And us conservatives, the conservatives who are not just kowtowing to our political side, the ones who are just like, oh, I believe Donald Trump is everything. Like, we're not sitting here thinking everything that man touches turns to gold. That's not true. Mm-hmm. We know that. So we're not sitting here saying, oh, well, yeah, that probably was an administrative error.
Yeah.
We are actually calling out the crap with the Epstein stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
We've talked about that stuff. This is terrible.
Yep.
I've talked about it on the show. Quit saying you're going to take away Rosie O'Donnell's her citizenship. Thank you. I wanted to say membership, but quit saying that crap. You look stupid when you say it because to the best of my knowledge, he can't do that.
No.
But it goes to say what I saw the video of the older millennial, and he was talking about it was like a stitch, and a liberal who was like, MAGA is the Republicans and MAGA are a cult. Prove me wrong. And of course, the older millennial was just like, yeah, you did this, and this. We have been questioning our side relentlessly, including the Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
And so we're not following suit with all of that. We wanted a perp walk, and we didn't get it.
I mean,
and so that's frustrating.
Turnaround's fair play. And here in a minute, to your good sleuthing, Rob, we're going to go through all of here in just a second. We're going to go through all of these instances, and we don't have them all, but we've got like 22 of them.
Yeah,
where basically the Biden administration weaponized the government against conservatives, against people on the right. Here's another one. Just to kind of refresh our minds of what. How Comey here is integral to all this.
Well, look at the date of that. Yeah. April 30th, 2020.
Oh, and it's also Charlie Kirk tweet,
This is Charlie Kirk, yeah.
The former director of the FBI literally bragging about entrapping General Flynn. Listen to this.
You look at this White House now, and it's hard to imagine 2 FBI agents ending up in the sit room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. In both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals and who would be there. And I thought it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over.
You look at this White House now, and it's hard to imagine 2
USOB.
And they used that to frame General Michael Flynn.
So,
and Mike Pence was the one that also threw General Flynn under the bus. And this is the guy that they say, again, to the original one, Mike Davis says James Comey, and he said this on Steve Bannon's show. Mike Davis says James Comey wasn't perp walked because DOJ issued a summons, not an arrest warrant, and it was an administrative mistake. And there's just no way you'll get me to believe that. I think there's people in the FBI that just are not on our side.
Yeah.
I mean,
what it says is Republicans, conservatives, just be resolved to the fact that we are too nice. We will not do the dirty BS that the Dems do. We won't fully do it. We're gonna act like we're gonna do it. We're like, oh, hey, we took that before that grand jury. We're gonna indict him. All of that stuff. You had the chance to do the perp walk for someone who 100% deserved it. Paul, he just admitted to a crime in an interview here. He just admitted to that crime. You just said, wait a minute, how did they end up on the door there? If you weren't targeting them, how'd they end up on Michael Flynn's door step? I sent them. Okay, wait a minute. Stop right there. Full stop.
and they laugh about it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so wonderful. FBI director.
You mean you did target him? Mm-hmm. How did you end up on the doorstep if you weren't targeting him? I sent him. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
And I think we're already being kind of set up. I mean, this it is in the Eastern District of Virginia. I know a grand jury already indicted him, but I'm now at this point prepared that he's going to walk.
If you don't get him in front of a independent or conservative judge, there's no chance.
Yeah, I just don't think,
because it's anything to get Trump at this
and
point.
Apparently it's a simple case, but there is something called jury nullification. The jury could just be all leftists and they just refuse to convict him regardless of what the evidence is.
It is a simple case. Sure.
Yeah.
It's a simple case, but when you want to talk about what case was presented to a Manhattan jury in the Trump trial,
that's right.
Like
where the bank was like, he didn't do anything wrong. Oh, okay.
Wait a minute.
The injured party, supposedly says
Correct.
we weren't in.
And you're like, oh, well, the value of Mar-a-Lago is $26 million, and a lot of millionaires were like, if that's the value, let me write the check right now, because Mar-a-Lago brings in $20 to $40 million a year in revenue. You not to mention that a smaller parcel of land on the ocean there in the right on the what is it, the Atlantic Ocean. Sorry, I got my Atlantic and Pacific messed up here. But a smaller parcel of land just down from Mar-a-Lago, half-acre lot versus I don't know how big Mar-a-Lago is, but it's more than a half an acre. It's an acre, 2 acres. Yeah. I don't know how big it is. Whatever. Half an acre lot. $200 million is what the asking price for that land was. But you're trying to tell me that a better parcel of land that already has this historic building on it is only worth $26 million.
Yeah.
But yet, we're liberals. We're just going to believe all that crap. We're just going to believe it. But the Republicans, the conservatives, they're the cult.
We've got big problems. I saw a headline yesterday that there's a U.S. attorney in New York that's now going to refuse to prosecute Letitia James, or she's refusing to, saying, I don't think we should prosecute Letitia James for mortgage fraud. We have reports from the Wall Street Journal now saying that the prosecution of James Comey is not going to be done by prosecutors in the Eastern District. They're having to bring in prosecutors from North Carolina outside the district to work the case because the prosecutors in Virginia don't want to do their job. They don't want to mess with it. Paul Sperry is now reporting. Let me see where it is right here. Paul Sperry is reporting that one of the FBI agents investigating the Comey case previously worked for Comey's defense attorney.
Oh, conflict of interest? Anyone?
It's insane. Then we have Sperry reminding us that we know that Comey FBI opened no fewer than 9 espionage-related investigations on Donald Trump as an advisor before and after he was first elected president, 2016 through 2017. #weaponization. it's not enough. I mean, like, even if I don't think Pam Bondi is doing what she needs to do, but even if she was, I think that they haven't cleaned house. They haven't gone in and
there's still poison.
And there's still too many people that are communists.
These
are communist lawyers.
They are Paul, that is such a great. That's the only word for it. You are literally saying, okay, it's two questions. Is it a crime to lie to Congress under a congressional subpoena?
Yes.
100%. It's a crime. Number two, did Comey lie to Congress under a congressional subpoena when he testified?
Yeah, I mean, there's videotape of him doing it. We just played it.
Cut and dry. Why will a prosecutor not charge that stuff? And you would say, well, they've got prosecutorial discretion. Yes, discretion, which means that you don't want to charge it. You don't want to charge it. But if the AG says, hey, I don't care what your discretion is, you're going to charge this, and they're still refusing to do it, that person needs to be gone.
It should be easy.
Your
it's
career,
an easy decision.
Yeah, your career in the Department of Justice under that wing is gone. You're going to have to go into the private sector. You're going to have to do whatever, but that should be gone. What are we even talking about here? What are we even talking about? You and I were talking about this over lunch today, Paul. What did Steve Bannon get sent to prison for? A misdemeanor. A misdemeanor. What did James Comey do? He committed a felony. And it's all on tape. What are we even talking about here?
And to not to not perp walk him or whatever. And I know that it sounds petty,
Makes me so mad.
But no, it does sound kind of petty of us. I've looked at some of the left-wing headlines over the day. MAGA melts down that Comey wasn't perp walked or in handcuffs or anything else. And so I get it. I mean, look, there's a ton of pent-up frustration. James Comey has been thought of as untouchable.
Yeah.
He acts untouchable. The man literally cannot give an interview without lying, and he lies so convincingly, like to himself. I think he knows he's lying. I think the man is a legitimate narcissist psychopath.
Yeah, 86. What was it? 86-47.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah, 86-47.
Well,
I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what 86 means. I'm just the former director of the FBI for a decade. I mean, it's the guy.
You don't know what it means to 86 somebody?
Yeah.
You're lying.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we wanted some sort of, we wanted that visual. I watched the raid. I watched the CNN cameras film the raid of Roger Stone's house. They had it in for Roger Stone for forever. Now, I mean, obviously Roger Stone has always been in Richard Nixon's corner. Thanks. Richard Nixon was essentially, was an intel that the intel agencies framed Nixon. By the way,
did they not? I mean,
yeah,
honestly,
they did.
It's kind of hard to argue with that.
But he's got a tattoo of Richard Nixon on his back.
Really? He's that much of a loyalist?
Yeah, he's got a tattoo.
I did not know that about Roger Stone.
On his back. But they were gunning for Roger Stone. There was this Netflix documentary called Get Me Roger Stone, and it dropped after the 2016 election.
Seriously?
And it features Alex Jones and Roger Stone, and it is amazing. Like, I remember watching it back in the day, and it is amazing.
It's called Get Me Roger Stone.
Get Me Roger Stone.
Okay.
And it is a documentary about, and the Netflix doc makes Roger Stone look like this guy in the shadows who wields this Trump presidency. And to me, if it was meant to be negative, it really was a positive.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. But if you look at those two guys, look at what InfoWars has been put through. Getting fined, getting owed damages of $1 billion,
Yeah.
and Alex is now still trying to keep the business afloat.
Yeah.
And then look what they did to Roger Stone. That documentary, very much brought out what had happened, and they went to work trying, especially in the Biden administration.
Yeah.
They go to work to try to punish people that helped Donald Trump.
Has he, Alex Jones? Just side note there. Has he appealed that, or is that
No,
final?
it's over. The question right now is, and I haven't watched InfoWars. I've just seen some little clips. They keep trying to shut it down.
And this is about the Newtown, Connecticut stuff,
Yeah,
right?
Sandy Hook stuff.
Yeah, Sandy Hook.
So all that's over and done with. It is what it is. The Kangaroo Court did what they did, and they say you owe $1 billion. Well, he doesn't have $1 billion. And so they're trying to shut down InfoWars, and there's all sorts of crooked corruption stuff that's been going on behind the scenes. And it keeps getting delayed and delayed. And I guess last week they said, okay, well, they're going to move forward and actually shut down InfoWars. They're building backup studios right now and going to totally rebrand if that happens.
Call it something else.
Yeah, Alex Jones Network or something.
Sure.
But now the last I heard is it's going all the way to the Supreme Court. Like they're going to.
It needs to because how is that not a like? Can you say that? Although the Sandy Hook stuff saying it was a hoax, like it never happened or whatever, I was like, okay, Alex. There's
look,
okay. Are there?
He came out.
Some nefarious stuff there?
I know, but like he came out and apologized for it, but it didn't matter, and it's like,
right.
Okay,
but you said some pretty. I mean, you went hard and said this is a government hoax. Okay, this was perpetrated by the government. Look at this. Look at the video of him with a rifle. I mean, we all saw that stuff, and I was like, man. You need to watch it. That's different than the stuff that we're seeing with Charlie Kirk.
Oh yeah, of course.
Whatever. You went hard for it, Alex Jones. Now, is that worth $1 billion? Like, how could you assess that as damage?
It's insane. It's insane.
And say, okay, wait a minute. This is about compensating the family for the hurt that you've caused. Versus, this is about Alex Jones, far-right conservative.
Yeah,
and we want to punish him.
And we want him off the air. We don't want him to be able to speak the rest of his life.
Can you definitively say that $1 billion judgment or whatever it is was for the compensation of the family versus I want to put him out of business?
Right, exactly.
And if it's the second thing, that's not what America is.
Yeah, and so but now I think they're not for the meantime. Once again, they're not shutting it down. There's been a lot of times that it was about to be shut down. So now they're saying it's going to go all the way up to the Supreme Court, and so we'll see what happens with that. But it escapes me why I brought up Alex Jones.
I don't know either.
I don't know. Well, sorry.
Hey, listen,
we're professionals.
So we have guys that have just so you know, like for our show, we have a list of topics that we want to talk about. I don't sit here and say, hey, Paul, you're going to say this, and then I'm going to say this, and then you're going to say this. We don't do that stuff. We're talking about the topics of the day. We're talking about our impressions of things. We're not scripting the show out. So sometimes you get some off-the-cuff stuff, and we dovetail into some things that we forget.
So let's talk about what happened under the Biden administration, conservatives being targeted. Obviously, the number one on the list would be the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago August 8th, 2022, where the DOJ obtained a warrant, and the FBI searched Trump's residence over classified documents, later leading to the federal indictment. And, of course, they staged the photos. They had cover sheets marked classified.
Classified. So they brought them with them.
So they can then leak it to the media.
Okay, so tell me this. What FBI raid is bringing documents with it? With some preprint. We've gone to a printer. We've gone to our Google Docs, or Microsoft Word, whatever, and we've printed off the word classified, right? We've done that. We printed off this stuff. But we're the FBI, and why are you doing a raid? When you do a raid, an unannounced raid, what was this, a pre-dawn raid, or it was in the evening time? I can't remember it, but I just remember it being dark, So you're doing this raid. The reason that you do a raid rather than an announced search about stuff is because you're trying to catch somebody off guard. But yet you took the time to print off classified documents. And I'm not talking about then an actual classified document. I'm talking about a piece of paper that says highly classified or top secret, whatever that is. You've taken the time to print that off so that you can raid the former president and what we would find out to be the future 47th president of the United States. You took the time to print that stuff off so that you could go to Mar-a-Lago and raid all of this stuff, put it on the stack of papers, and put classified, top secret, whatever it was, so that you could have a photo op. And you want to tell me that it's not politicized? You want to tell me that that wasn't a targeted thing by the Biden Department of Justice? I've got a bridge to sell you right now. If you believe that BS, if you are so stupid, you are so ignorant that you believe that the Mar-a-Lago raid was on the up and up, it was justified, all of that stuff. If you are so stupid that you don't think that it was the Biden Department of Justice trying to influence the 2024 election, you are a moron.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't say it any better than that. And so then they took the photos, and the rest is history. And by the way, the Mar-a-Lago raid might actually be the linchpin in all of this to get past the statute of limitations. If it's an overarching conspiracy that's been going on for 10 years, the Mar-a-Lago raid could be considered that you were furthering that, right? That was part of the overall witch hunt against Trump. So
these stupid Democrat senators are saying, "Oh, you're weaponizing the Department of Justice." You gave us the playbook.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
And we're chasing actual criminals. We're not raiding Melania Trump's underwear drawer.
Which they did. So then obviously the next step, so Trump is just kind of most of these hits at first. The next step would be the federal indictment of Trump for the classified docs, which was June the 9th, a year later. So they raid him on August 8th, 2022. June 9th, 2023, they indict him, special counsel Jack Smith. Then, of course, after that, we now find out, this is not on the list, but we found out the senators were being spied on.
Oh, yeah. Senators being spied on.
Then we have the federal indictment of Donald Trump on January 6th, 2020.
Yeah, that was Georgia
was August 1st. They indicted him again. 4-count DC case alleging conspiracies related to the 2020 certification. So that's just Trump, okay?
Yeah.
Then we get to Peter Navarro, convicted and sentenced.
Collateral damage.
Yeah, the collateral damage. Peter Navarro, convicted and sentenced. Trump White House aide advisor, convicted of contempt of Congress, J6, and given 4 months in prison. And as I talked to you at lunch, they put him in leg irons.
Leg irons.
Yeah.
And we can't perp walk James Comey. Mm-hmm. You got Peter Navarro in leg irons. We're getting some Southernisms here.
Yeah.
Irons. I don't know. Whatever.
Irons.
But you got Peter Navarro who would say James Comey should have been perp walked. If I got to walk in here with some leg irons, like I'm some Venezuelan, Guatemalan gang member, drug dealer, rapist, killer, whatever you want to call me. But yet, what was my contempt of Congress?
Yes,
because I didn't come to Congress when they subpoenaed me.
Right.
That's what that is. Congress people, congressmen and women, subpoenaed Peter Navarro. He chose not to show up because he knew what it would be. He chose not to show up. So they arrested him, put him in leg shackles. And you want to stand there and tell me you've got the moral high ground about James Comey and all of these investigations and Trump calling for the arrest of J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson there in Illinois? You want to tell me you got the moral high ground?
And they're actually saying now that the Insurrection Act is, I mean, they're really moving that ball down the field. There's more reports saying that that's what's going to happen.
Well, you mean you're talking about some actual insurrection?
Yeah.
Active Let's duty. See some actual insurrection.
That'll mean active duty military are activated on U.S. soil if he does the Insurrection Act. So, and I also say with the Peter Navarro thing and back-to-back Steve Bannon was also sent to jail, right, for the same thing. The J6 committee wasn't legitimate because they didn't have a ranking member on it. It wasn't done the right way.
And who were the Republicans that were allowed on there?
Liz Cheney
and Kissinger.
Yeah, and so
two rhinos.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, we all know that. I said this earlier though, just to refresh everybody's minds. Like Bannon and Navarro didn't want to go into that. That was a performance. There are people on record that say. That when they kicked off the J6 committee, They were trying to. They actually hired a former TV producer, an ABC TV new producer. They wanted this to be like the O.J. Simpson trial. They wanted it to be appointment television. They wanted to convince everybody, hey, we've got to make sure that populism is squashed. But of course, it failed miserably. Nobody bought what they were selling. And people like Bannon and Navarro were like, I don't want to participate in this pony show. Plus, it wasn't even legitimate.
Well, and lack of legitimacy is one thing, but also, too, what happened to the records of the select committee for January 6th? Where are those records, Paul? Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, they've been destroyed.
They've been destroyed. Let me just ask you a question, you stupid liberals, who believe that January 6th was the darkest day in our American history. Let me ask you this. A committee was formed to investigate it. And after that, they produced all of these, this is what we believe happened, but yet the documents to prove it were destroyed. Ask yourself who's in the cult.
Then we go down to Representative Scott Perry.
Fired up. I'm on one today, Paul.
I know. I get it. Then we go to Scott Perry. Congressman Scott Perry's cell phone was seized. GOP congressman's device taken pursuant to warrant related to 2020 election probes, long court fight over speech or debate protections. This was an effort to essentially they were upset that Scott Perry was in communication. He's from Pennsylvania. Yeah. Pennsylvania was stolen in 2020.
100%.
And he was working with the Trump administration trying to figure out how do we get the correct vote count in my state.
How dare you do that?
They wanted to throw Scott Perry in jail. Now, they didn't. The last I heard of it was this story here. Oh, sorry, wrong one. U.S. Justice Department unseals redacted search warrant. And in this, they're still, this is a liberal report, they're still claiming he was trying to overturn the election, which, by the way, yeah, okay, but it was clearly fraudulent.
If it should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what did you do? You went against your entire state's constitution to allow for these votes. And somebody would say, well, why do you care? If it was a vote that was cast for Joe Biden, it should have been counted. Except that there are rules for a reason, number one. And number two, when you're just funneling all of this stuff in after the game is already over, you're funneling it all in. Who's checking that crap? Who's checking? Where are the checks and balances on this stuff? We know where they were. They were happening at 2 a.m. after everybody had already been sent home, including the Republican poll watchers who were the first that were kicked out of these things. We've seen that all across the country. But Democrats can't come up with a reason why no liberal or Democrat poll watchers have been kicked out of things. The only time that they're kicked out is when a supervisor has says, hey, we're shutting down for the night. Everybody go home. Click. Turns the knob as everybody leaves and then pulls a bucket or a box of ballots out from underneath the table. We saw the video of it. We're not making crap up. 2,000 mules. You can say all that crap that you want to. We're conspiracy theorists.
Well,
all of that. But Pennsylvania went against its entire constitution to allow that.
No, they did. I'm really glad, honestly, that you're bringing all that up, because it really just dawns on me, because we know all of that, but to hear it said again, you're like, and nobody's being punished for it. It's like, it's just, something has got to give here.
There are far more conservatives in the United States, Paul, than there are liberals. There are far more conservatives. But you want to talk about free and fair elections? You want to tell me that even 2024 was as close as it was? I don't believe that crap.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it because we saw it in polling. What did we see when Donald Trump was polling? He was always polling 10 points behind. 2016, 2020, he would always poll 10, 12, 15 points behind in these things. And then when it would come down to the bottom of the ninth there, it would always be a close election. Well, Donald Trump was polling 2, 3, 6, 7 points ahead in 2024. But yet some of these counts were still close, which is why Kamala Harris was surprised when she lost.
Yep.
The reason because she thought she had it in the bag, even with that polling number, because we count the votes. What did he say? Stalin. What did he say? Maybe it was Stalin. I can't remember. I can't remember who the quote is. It's like, it doesn't matter what the votes are. It matters who's counting
that's right.
the votes.
Well, and there's really good reporting out there about why 2024 wasn't like 2020, and it had to do with these data analysts that got data to Elon Musk. And at first Elon Musk was skeptical, but then he had his own people look at it, and he was like, no, okay, they had
there's a there.
They had everything from the ballots of 2020, obviously, but we didn't have COVID for 2024.
Yeah.
But so they had phantom voters registered. They had, and that brings us to the machines, which brings us to the next person on the list under the Biden administration, which was Mike Lindell. They seized Mike Lindell's phone. The FBI seized Mike Lindell's phone September 13th, 2022. The MyPillow CEO's device was taken, tied to a warrant with election systems rigging. So Mike Lindell was the pillow salesman trying to save America. He was also trying to overturn the election, but he was the one, we talk about the ballots, which was an easy way to cheat. Mike Lindell was the one saying it was the voting machines as well. The voting machines can't be trusted. And then what did we find? They can't connect to the internet. And then we found out, they joking. They can connect to the internet. And so
court,
they went after him. Dominion went after him. Everybody went after him because he was saying, look, these electronic voting machines are also the problem, and that's why Trump really won the election, and it was stolen from him. And they love to get phones. Then the next one, Rob, is the FBI seized John Eastman's phone. Trump election attorney phone taken under warrant. Court later, they were very... by the way, the court later declined to force DOJ to return it. They were all extremely worried about anyone who questioned that 2020 election. And the Biden administration went after them.
Election deniers.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Am I denying the election, or do I just have questions because I saw some videos of some people pulling some ballots out from underneath a box? And this is before AI. This is before AI, folks. I saw some people pulling some ballots out from underneath a table, and they were in a box. I also saw the poll people putting up barriers because nothing to see here, folks. It's kind of reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Right, we saw that. And then we saw videos of people showing up at 2 o'clock in the morning to a poll box, right? What's it called? A voting box?
Ballot box.
Ballot box, thank you. I couldn't think of that word. So a ballot box, we see you pull up there at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you come out there and you got a box full of ballots. Where the hell did you just come from? Why do you have a box full of ballots? And why, when we go to count those ballots, and we saw this, and there were whistleblowers who said this in court, and everybody's like, well, every court case failed. It's because the judge who was overhearing it said you don't have standing. It's not you don't have a case. You don't have standing here. I don't want to overrule it. And what they were doing is they're kicking the can down the road. They don't want to be the person, they don't want to be the federal judge who overturns an entire presidential election. They would if the roles were reversed. If Republicans were stuffing the ballot box, Paul, you and I would know that those judges, because we've already seen it in Trump's second term, they would 100% be putting, you know what? We've seen too many inconsistencies here. You went past your state's constitution. You were accepting ballots past the deadline. We see that. We're going to overturn those elections because liberal federal judges will do that crap. But what we saw were all of these inconsistencies. And you say, I'm not saying that Trump won. I'm saying this doesn't look good. We have a lot of inconsistencies. Dominion is saying that a voting machine can't be online. But yet, in court in Arizona, someone gets onto a voting machine. How is that possible?
It was. I think it was in a hearing at the State House, not court, but it was a committee.
Okay, so it was in a hearing. Sorry, but it was in.
Meeting.
I feel strongly that it was Arizona. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
It was Arizona. It was a committee hearing, and the guy hacked the machine.
Right.
He
there
hacked
the machine right there, and he's like, "Wait a minute, how's that even possible? How could I hack a voting machine if it's not online?" Mm-hmm. How is that even possible? And wait a minute, how is this voting machine even receiving its data whatsoever if it's not online? Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. All we have are questions. And what are we called? Election deniers. Mike Lindell. We see Scott Perry. All of these people who had questions about the stuff. We're not saying Trump won. Some people were. But a lot of folks were just saying,
yeah,
this don't look good.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I think most, it's certainly people on the right were saying he won. I mean, I was certainly saying it because we all saw the vote total.
We're saying it because we saw the crap.
Yeah,
you know.
But then the phone didn't end. You had Kelly Ward, so they seized a bunch of phones. Mike Lindell, John Eastman, Kelly Ward, they seized their phones, and Scott Perry. Kelly Ward was. Let's see, the U.S. Supreme Court allowed J6 committee to obtain Arizona GOP chairs' call records. So that was tied to Arizona because obviously that was so they went after anybody that was an election denier that they could try to bully, intimidate. You might not, maybe they beat the charges, but you're not going to enjoy the ride. The ride that James Comey has already leapfrogged over because part of the ride would be getting perp walked into the court. He's already avoided that. And this is why it's so frustrating. This is why we're going over this. Then we get to none other than James O'Keefe. James O'Keefe, Project Veritas.
Former
Project Veritas, now OMG O'Keefe Media Group. FBI search warrants executed in the Southern District of New York over Ashley Biden's diary theft probe.
Yeah.
Later, the court allowed review of these seized devices. Ultimately, the DOJ declined charges against Veritas.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, on that one, Rob, we can give you an update. We later found out through James O'Keefe, they later released the affidavit that would have given them probable cause to raid the newsroom of James O'Keefe, and this is what James O'Keefe got back. He got an affidavit that was totally redacted.
Yeah.
The Justice Department gave him they redacted every word of the probable cause used to raid the newsroom. So,
wow.
And by the way, the whole Ashley Biden diary thing is fascinating. Her saying that she took inappropriate showers with her dad.
Yeah.
And that was all. It's kind of ironic because
when she was how old? I can't remember.
Young. I mean,
it was
6, 7, 8. I don't know.
I feel like it was at an age where she recognized.
Yeah. So maybe it was older. I don't know. Yeah, she was.
I just want to say it was 10, but I don't know that for sure.
But so. The irony here is that as far as I'm concerned, to this day, nationalfile.com is still the only place that has the full Ashley Biden diary published.
Yeah.
It was first given to James O'Keefe, and it was right before the election, and he didn't run with it, even though, according to reports, it was verified, but for whatever reason, they didn't run with it, and I, to this day, don't know why. But so that's why it's very ironic that he ended up getting raided over it when he wasn't even the one that put it out.
Paul, let me ask you a question. You and I both have daughters. Can you imagine a scenario where we would ever have bathed with our own daughters?
No.
Yeah. Now, moms and daughters, maybe.
Yeah.
I've seen that before. Obviously, we've seen it. And my wife, when our youngest daughter was younger, might have taken a shower, with her daughter, and with our daughter. There's no planet.
I know, it was sick, man.
Right. We know that, and so for this to get out there, and like it was verified, if she even confirmed that it was true. Right? Ashley Biden even confirmed that it was true. Why was there a raid even needed to get this?
Wouldn't we love to read this probable
cause affidavit? Wouldn't we love to have it?
Then we would really know.
We would know. But yet, like we're talking about the FBI. Do they not have these records now? Can they not release an unredacted?
They better. And I would imagine O'Keefe is going to do everything
I would
to get it.
O'Keefe call Kash Patel and be like, hey, look, man, let me see it.
Yeah, where is this affidavit? Like, let's continue to expose the corruption. Then you get somebody by the name of, and again, right now, just to run down the list, this is just 22 people, or 22 instances.
Yeah.
22 instances. Mar-a-Lago raid, federal indictment, Donald Trump 1, federal indictment, Donald Trump 2, Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon, FBI seizes Scott Perry's phone, FBI seizes Mike Lindell's phone, FBI seizes John Eastman's phone, Kelly Ward's phone, Project Veritas, James O'Keefe raid over Ashley Biden diary. Then we get to number 11, Douglas Mackey, who was convicted, whose conviction has been overturned this year, praise the Lord.
Yeah.
But he was a right-wing meme maker who was charged with conspiracy against rights over 2016 memes that he made.
Talking about that you can vote online?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
They were downright hilarious right here. He was making memes like this.
He was making fun of the left that they would actually believe it.
I'm with Hillary, go Hillary, avoid the line, vote at home, text Hillary to 59925. This man, under the Biden administration, was convicted and sent to jail, and he only got out because it was overturned on appeal this year.
Yep.
So what is that?
For a meme.
How many years did he do in that case? I can't really remember.
So
where did it go? Douglas Mackey, charged in January 2021, convicted 2023. Dude served 2 years.
So two years, 2 months.
2 years.
No, 2 years, 2 months.
Over a meme. And James Comey can't be perp walked.
Yeah.
Because of an administrative error.
And we're the ones weaponizing the Department of Justice.
Yes.
Shut the hell up, man.
I can't believe that they're now turning that phrase.
You're so full of garbage if you believe that.
And this is not all the list. There's more, but then you get to, remember, Owen Schroyer of InfoWars.
Of course.
He was a journalist covering what happened on January 6th.
He wasn't there to riot.
No.
He wasn't there to stop the vote from happening.
Yeah, they got him on being in an unauthorized space, but he didn't even go in the Capitol. And he served 60 days in jail.
60 days in jail.
A journalist.
For just being there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Covering the event. Were there any NBC reporters there? CBS, ABC, MSNBC, CNN? There were.
Yeah.
There's no way in the world
of course.
You have this huge gathering as January 6th was, and these people aren't there. Were any of them charged? No. Owen Schroyer is InfoWars.
Yeah. InfoWars. There you
InfoWars.
go. Formerly of InfoWars.
Yes.
Obviously left
at the time.
At the time. Then we get into the FACE Act violations, which have to do with people protesting outside of abortion clinics. Joe Biden made the FBI his personal police force in the wake and outrage of Roe versus Wade and the abortion issue going back to the states. They wanted Biden to respond. They wanted Biden to just issue an executive order saying, "Oh, I'm going to overrule the court and abortion's now legal again." But he couldn't do that. So what did he do? The next best thing was to punish pro-lifers who've been working in the communities for years, who've been praying against abortion, who've been starting pregnancy resource centers with ultrasounds, trying to, those are the people that Biden said, okay, now we're going to punish the ones who have made this the issue.
Yeah.
So, FACE Act, Washington, D.C., clinic blockade, October of 2020. Biden sentences people in May of 2024. Leaders like Lauren Handy received multi-year sentences under Federal Civil Rights Act. Then they did another one, Mount Juliet, Tennessee blockade. Multiple pro-life activists were sentenced. This was in 2020. Let's see here. They were charged October of 2022. They were convicted in 2024, January of 2024. Then we get to my favorite in terms of outrageous is Mark Hawk. Mark Hawk was a Pennsylvania pro-life activist, and he was arrested, charged with FACE Act violation, and was eventually acquitted by a jury. He served no time, but this man's home was raided. And his children traumatized for the rest of their life.
He had like 5 or 6 children, if I remember correctly. And he was raided. It was like 6 a.m. They raided his house. Do you remember what he was accused of doing?
I don't.
Do you remember specifically?
No, I don't.
Praying silently. I pulled away from the microphone because I increased my volume. Praying silently outside of an abortion clinic.
Well, no wonder a jury of his peers acquitted him of such a ridiculous charge.
Wow.
And then the last pro-life issue that we have is Paul Vaughn, a Tennessee pro-life activist sentenced.
Convicted. Yeah.
Yeah, sentenced to supervised release, convicted under the FACE Act, avoided prison, but case cited by conservatives as overreach.
Yeah, of course it was. Of course it was overreach, because what were these? Even if they went out there and completely protested, even if they had signs saying "You're going to hell because you killed your children," that is free speech that is protected. How the hell has this man even got a conviction? How did that happen? How was he arrested? How was he charged? How was he put on trial? And how the hell was he convicted?
The answer is that the DOJ is full of communists.
100%
this is the answer.
correct.
And there's still plenty of them there right now.
Yep.
There's
These people aren't gone.
Plenty of
Some
them
of
are
them
there
are.
right now.
Some of them aren't, but these people aren't gone, Paul, and you know it.
Then we get to the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, firearms, zero tolerance enforcement on gun dealers, a Biden-era policy, spiked FFL license revocations versus prior years. It was later repealed in 2025, but gun rights groups called that punitive towards lawful dealers. Then we get to the DOJ AG Merrick Garland school board memo. Remember this?
Oh, my God, the school board memo.
They directed coordination against threats to school officials after the NSBA letter. Conservatives argue it chilled parents. DOJ says it focused on true threats. This was over trans people and porn books in our schools.
Correct. And it followed on the heels of, and I don't know if it was before or after. I feel like it was an after. Like the Dems have done so much BS. Like we're getting confused in all the crap that they've done. But there was a father, and this was in Virginia. I believe it was in Virginia.
That's the next one on the list.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
read that. Number 19.
Yes. Okay. So his daughter had been his daughter had been raped by a transgender in the bathroom, and the school district decided to cover it up. So the guy goes to the school board, and he's like, "How dare you do this? My daughter was raped." What did they have him do? Be arrested. Mm-hmm. You are arrested, sir. Okay. Dems.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. Yeah, we all know. I'm surprised to this day. And when that happened, I was like, I'm surprised the father had as much restraint as he did. You know,
we're fathers of daughters, Paul.
I know.
Paul, and I question whether I would be able to be.
I know. Me
sane.
too. I've thought about this for a long time.
I would.
Yeah, but the guy's name was Scott Smith from Loudoun County, Virginia.
Yep.
A school board meeting. Okay. So they had him arrested, and then he was pardoned on September. He was pardoned September 10th, 2023 is what this says. I don't know if that's accurate.
I don't think that's accurate.
I don't think that's
know
true.
Of a pardon.
Yeah, but he became.
Or maybe he was pardoned by the governor.
Yeah, that's right.
Youngkin.
It was Youngkin.
Youngkin.
Yeah, Youngkin.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
So it was a pardon.
Yep.
So Youngkin pardoned him. He became a symbol for parents' rights. Later granted absolute pardon by Governor Youngkin. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay.
Then we have three more.
Okay,
FBI Radical Traditionalist Catholic Memo. It was a leaked memo in 2023, a document from Richmond field office withdrawn after backlash. Later, the IG review said it violated standards but found no malicious intent, which is ridiculous.
Of course.
This was a plot by the FBI to send undercover agents into conservative Catholic churches to spy on them.
Why? Why conservative Catholics? What are Catholics against?
Abortion,
among other things. They're against abortion. That's what all of this was on the heels of, and this was all in the aftermath of the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
It's absolutely insane. And then we got this two more. Ryan Kelly, a Republican a candidate for Michigan governor. He was arrested and later sentenced. He was arrested in June 9, 2022, sentenced in October 2023, a J6-related misdemeanor case against an active GOP candidate. Then the last one, the state fake electors prosecutions from 23 to 24. Democratic attorney generals charged Republican electors in several states, Michigan, Nevada, Arizona, grand jury in 2024. These are state, not federal, but it was still a part of the weaponization of government.
Sure.
So we went over this list. It's just 22 instances of Trump or others in Trump circles, and there's way more.
Yeah, of course.
And James Comey can't even be perp walked into the courthouse.
There's no justification for it over a clerical or administrative error. Give me a damn break.
It's absolutely
you are
insane.
lying.
It's absolutely insane. We're let's see here. Yeah, we are over. We're out of time.
Sorry, folks.
It's okay. Rob, I appreciate it.
Sorry I was late today, folks. Glad to be here.
We didn't get to the big roundtable with Antifa discussion that happened in the White House. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Want to shout out to our sponsors. We really appreciate it. Red Vive Health, New Horizon Real Estate, Gateway Sight and Sound, T-Guard, Bail Bonds, and Sheridan Chiropractic. We couldn't do the show without them. We will see you guys tomorrow. And until then, be safe.